everybody. March is Mental Health Awareness Month, and when we think of mental health, sometimes we think of big emotions. And kids, teenagers, I guess all of us really do have some big emotions. So, emotional regulation is something that we try and work on in guidance class with kids at school here, and also something I guess we all kind of need to pay attention to with our children. And it kind of begins with what they call emotional intelligence. And the first step to that is teaching children and modeling identifying emotions. So when we think of different instances throughout the day where we might be able to say, well, I was feeling this. Boy, that really made me feel this feeling. Then kids sort of can start to identify their feelings, which helps them understand and regulate their emotions. Our go-to with children, or children's go-to, and a lot of adults, I feel like will say, I got so mad. I was so mad when that friend didn't invite me, or I was so mad when you didn't get that done. And I think if we try to not just use angry or mad as labeling our feeling and teach our children to do that too, they'll understand their feelings better and maybe not be as overwhelmed by them. So for instance, if a friend doesn't invite them to something, they may say, I'm really mad at Sally. And I try to teach them to say, well, are you really, or are you sad? It's okay to be sad, or maybe you're disappointed or hurt. And I think it's important to just kind of emphasize that those are all the range of feelings we have, and they're normal, and we can deal with them, and we can talk about them. And it makes me think of a story when my daughter had a birthday, and she was maybe turning 3, and my son was 6. So I had one of those sweet friends who brings a gift for the sibling as well as for the birthday girl. And so she wraps gifts really beautifully. And my son was so excited because she had this beautifully wrapped gift for him. And, when you're a kid, you think like, well, this is going to be like the gift of a lifetime. It's going to be just, everything I've ever dreamed in one box. And it wasn't. He said, oh, I'm mad. I'm mad at Miss Danny. She gave me some baby books. And I was like, oh, he's disappointed, So I said, well, are you really mad at her? She went out and bought you something. She wrapped it. She brought it. She didn't have to do any of that. Are you really mad at her? He was a little guy, but he said, I guess I'm not mad. I'm disappointed and I'm frustrated. And I thought, well, good for you, buddy. So we kind of practice that, and I encourage everybody to kind of practice that, and I try and label my own feelings. A lot of times as parents, when something makes us frightened or scared, as a parent, that's a big feeling, right? So like if a child drops a glass and it goes everywhere and we start yelling, get out of the kitchen, I'm going to clean this up. To them, it looks like we're experiencing anger. So I try to explain maybe I was yelling, or I seemed really worked up, and I wasn't mad, I was scared. And whenever I think that you're in danger, I'll get scared as a mom, and it might come out like I'm angry because I'm yelling at you, or I seem really harsh. So anyways, just talking about our feelings I think is really helpful. If your children go here to Christ the King, the elementary students have watched this video series that we loved, and it's through childmind.org/healthyminds. It's a video series that includes hedgehogs, and that's the very first lesson, is identify your feeling and speak your feeling. Tell somebody what you're feeling. And that's a first step toward emotional regulation. But then what to do after that? What to do when they experience big emotions? It's not really something we can talk about and problem solve in the moment necessarily, but we sort of want to give them a toolbox to what do I do when I have this overwhelming emotion? Well, some kids are really great with getting outside and running, or kicking a soccer ball or whatever, and that helps them deal with those big feelings that they may have. Something I learned through a counselor conference that it apparently reduces anxiety and just helps kids deal with great big feelings, is a rhythmic throwing, like playing catch if they play baseball. In my office here, I have a little basketball hoop, and kids something about the rhythm of throwing and catching is very calming. So that's another thing. Some kids love to play their instrument or listen to music when really worked up. But anyways, just a few tips. Keep talking about feelings, model that for kids, and give them a few ideas of what to do when they do become a little overwhelmed. Thanks.